Hey guys, so this video requires the main to be down because it's finally here and y'all are going to unbox it with me. I have the Black Sabbath Anno Domini box set. This contains the 4 albums that Black Sabbath put out on IRS Records with Tony Martin on vocals between 1989 and 1995. And that would pretty much mark the end of Black Sabbath's recording career for the next, 18 years until 13 came out in 2013 with Ozzy Osbourne on vocals. So the Tony Martin era of Sabbath is kind of, I don't know, it's kind of just a weird thing because they were at rock bottom commercially, especially in the United States. They were probably doing a little better in Europe, but in the U.S., I mean, no one cared. And despite that, they actually put out some great records. Tony Martin is a fantastic singer. And the albums that they strung together during that time were just, I mean, Tony Iommi was the riff master that he always was. And, Cozy Powell provided drums on a lot of those records. And I mean, that guy's an absolute metal legend. Played with Whitesnake and played with Ronnie James Dio in Rainbow back in the day. So Cozy Powell was a legend. A lot of those records had Neil Murray on bass and had Jeff Nichols on keyboards, who was just a huge part of Latter-day Sabbath, even before Tony Martin. So with that in mind, I didn't actually need this box set because I have original pressings of all of the Tony Martin era Sabbath albums. But I bought it for a few different reasons, right? Number one is I felt like I needed to put my money where my mouth is because I am one of those people that has been advocating for years to get these albums reissued. They've all been out of print for the better part of 30 years. They've never appeared on digital streaming platforms until the release of this box set. So now you can go on to the streaming platform of your choice and stream all of these albums. And I highly encourage you to do so if you've never heard any of these. And so what I think I'm going to do here, because I'm interested in doing a little bit of a comparison, is I've got the original pressings here, and then I'm going to show you guys all of those and sort of what those look like, and then we'll compare them to what's in the box. I have not actually opened the box. I did take the shrink wrap off and cut the hype sticker off and the piece of paper that was on the back behind the shrink. So I have those, but the box itself, I'm going to be discovering this just like you guys will. So let's start with the originals. This one is actually not in the box set, but this is the first Black Sabbath album with Tony Martin on vocals. This is the Eternal Idol, and this one came out on Warner Brothers Records in 1987. This was their last album for Warner Brothers, and so this one has been, this one's been in print for most of its existence. It's not hard to find on vinyl. And it's out there. For anyone other than Sabbath diehards, if they've heard a Tony Martin Sabbath album over the years, chances are this is probably the one they've heard because it's actually been available, both physical and streaming. So, all right, so let's get down to the records that'll actually be in the box set. So the first one that'll be in the box set is Headless Cross. This is from 1989. This is a U.S. original. This is actually a stock market copy, too. It is not a club pressing. This is the one and only stock market copy I've ever seen. Every other one I've ever seen in the wild has been either a BMG Record Club or a Columbia House pressing. And there's no cutouts on this or anything. It was in shrink when I bought it. And it's just beautiful. So it has, because it was in shrink, it's got the hype sticker. So there you go. A brand new slab of Sabbath in the year of our Lord, 1989. So that's pretty cool. And then it's got this nice lyric insert. And then the actual record on this copy is just clean as hell. So there's the center label. All right, so that's Headless Cross, and then 2 years later, the group would get together and record Tyr, spelled T-Y-R. And Tyr is an album that's got a lot of like Nordic mythology type themes to it and stuff. I think Tony Martin was probably a little more involved in the lyrics for this record. But this is an original Italian pressing because this wasn't pressed on vinyl originally in the U.S. And so this is another absolutely gorgeous copy. And it's got a nice custom inner sleeve with lyrics and credits and everything. And yeah, this is sort of the classic band from that period. So Tony Iommi on guitar, Cozy Powell on drums, Tony Martin on vocals, and Neil Murray on bass. And for whatever reason, they never really ever credited Jeff Nichols as being part of the band. But I mean, his keyboard sound lent so much to Latter-day Sabbath. Like it's just unreal. So yeah, you can see the label there. You got that SIAE stamp, which is always on legitimate Italian pressings of things. So that's Tyr. And then after Tyr, they Tony Iommi decided to reunite with Ronnie James Dio, and the early '80s lineup of Sabbath with Dio, Iommi, Geezer Butler, and Vinny Appice got back together and recorded another album in 1992, Dehumanizer. And then that reunion lasted about as long as the blink of an eye. And then at that point, Tony Iommi brought Tony Martin back into the fold. And in 1994, they recorded this. This is Cross Purposes. And Cross Purposes is the only Tony Martin era album that actually has two original members on it. So Tony Iommi's on this, of course, and then Geezer Butler also plays bass on this. And I'm not sure what the story was with why Cozy Powell wasn't on this album for drums, but on this particular one, drums are handled by Bobby Rondinelli, and he does a great job. So this particular pressing, this one's again an Italian pressing, and it's got nice custom inner sleeve with it. And ooh, looks like it got a little bend there. And then here's the label on this one. So it's got, again, got the SIAE stamp there on the left. And all right, so that's Cross Purposes. And then last but not least is the Black Sabbath album that everyone loves to hate, that more people would like if they would just put it on and listen to it, but so many people never got past the first track. Yes, I'm talking about Forbidden. So Forbidden is definitely on the bottom of most people's list of best Black Sabbath albums, and this is a Brazilian pressing. In '95, this was only pressed on vinyl in Brazil legitimately. This album has been bootlegged the world over. Bootlegs are very easy to find and not very expensive. But if you want a legitimate pressing of the original mix, this is it here. And the reason I say the original mix is because in the box set, Forbidden has a brand new mix. And the reason for that, and the reason that a lot of fans didn't like it, is because it was produced by Ernie C. from Body Count. And if you know Body Count, it kind of has that style of sound to it, and it didn't always fit Black Sabbath well. But I'll get there in a minute. So here is the label for Forbidden. You can see the rim text written in Portuguese. And yeah, so there's no insert, no inner sleeve, no anything like that with this. It's just a very basic pressing. By 1995, I don't think too many people were buying vinyl, so no one probably really cared, but that's it. So so Forbidden, the first track, the way that they decided to open the album was with The Illusion of Power, which isn't a bad song. But it's got Tony Martin singing in this style that almost resembles slam poetry. And then you've got a cameo from Ice-T. Again, Ice-T was a member of Body Count, right? He was the founder of Body Count. So it's just odd for Sabbath. But if you get past the first track, there's actually a lot of really good stuff on this record. It does sound different than a lot of Sabbath albums. But that doesn't mean it's bad. I mean, it's heavy, it's hard, it's got good lyrical themes. It's just the overall sound of it is, yeah, I mean, it's different. And so in 2024, Tony Iommi decided to do a remix of the album and make it sound more like a Sabbath album and more like what he thought it should sound like. And I've listened to it on Apple Music, and objectively, his mix is probably better than Ernie C's. I mean, none of the members of Black Sabbath liked that mix the way it came out. They all hated it. And especially Tony Iommi and Cozy Powell, they couldn't stand how it came out. And so, objectively, I think Tony Iommi probably did a better job than Ernie C did. But it sounds like a totally different album to me. It is not anything resembling the same record that I've listened to for 30 years. I mean, Tony Iommi used different vocal takes that were scrapped during the original sessions. Certain things were brought up in the mix. There's different guitar parts. There's all kinds of things. There's actually a video on YouTube where a guy kind of does a comparison between the two. But suffice it to say, I don't hate the new mix, and I'm glad that with the box set, I'll have it on vinyl. But I'm pretty sure that Ernie C's original mix is probably going to be the one that I end up listening to for the rest of my life. It's the one I've listened to for 30 years, and it's the one I'm used to, and it's the historically accurate version of the recording, for better or worse. So, with that in mind, let's go ahead and unbox this bad boy. So, first off, like I said, on the shrink wrap, there was a hype sticker, so we've got that. And then we've also got this paper that was underneath the shrink wrap on the back of the box, just for the barcode and all of that. And so on the actual box, the back is basically the exact same, except it doesn't have the barcode and all that. Okay. So let's go ahead and take the lid off here. Okay, so nice presentation. You open up the box, you got the book, and let's see, what is in this book? Oh, wow, yeah, there's all kinds of stuff. Oh, yeah, all kinds of cool old, tour posters and stuff. Oh, I can't wait to read all of this. Yeah, look at this. A Headless Cross 7-inch. Tony Iommi on the cover of Kerrang. It's pretty cool. All right, yeah, I'm going to have to dig into that a little later. Okay, next thing in the box here is a replica tour program from the 1989 tour in support of Headless Cross. And the reason that Headless Cross has given so much attention is because, as far as the Tony Martin years are concerned, that's probably most people's favorite Tony Martin record. I like them all equally. I really can't pick one. But, I mean, if I absolutely had to pick a favorite, I would probably say Cross Purposes, but that's just me. So it's got all kinds of cool stuff here. Tony Iommi on guitar, Cozy Powell drums, Tony Martin vocals. Neil Murray bass. That's funny. I'll tell you why in a second. Jeff Nichols on keyboards. Okay. So, Neil Murray, I forgot. Neil Murray, who was such an integral part of all those Tony Martin era records, he actually was, he joined on the tour for Headless Cross, but he didn't actually play bass on that album. If you saw the hype sticker that I held up earlier, it was actually Lawrence Cottle that played bass on Headless Cross. But and then this should be, this is like a giant Headless Cross poster. Wow, this is huge. Take a look at this, you guys. That's pretty awesome. All right. So we got that part done. Now, let's take a look at the actual 4 LPs. I wonder if these have the inserts and all that, or inner sleeves and everything else with them. Let's find out. All right, so here's Headless Cross. So the first thing that strikes me about Headless Cross, as I'm looking at the original, the contrast, the color temperature and the contrast is definitely a lot sharper on the reissues. So you can see here, here's the original and here's the reissue. And if you look, the name Black Sabbath is actually 2 completely different colors. It's smaller and it's hard to see on camera, but the contrast on the reissue here is actually a lot sharper than this image. So that's kind of interesting. All right, so let's see. What's in here? No insert, no nothing, none of that. Okay. Oh, wow, yeah, Tear is really dark compared to the... I don't know how well this is going to come out on camera, but let's see. So this is the reissue here, and yeah, it doesn't really come out on camera very well, but the contrast is way higher here on the reissue on the cover art here. Okay. So let's see here. What am I doing? Yep, putting this down here. Okay. And oh yeah, I wanted to see if this had the inner sleeve or anything like that. Nope, just a plain black sleeve with that label. Okay, well, that's kind of a bummer. I wonder if they reprinted that, all the lyrics and everything in the booklet. I'll have to take a look. Okay, Cross Purposes is another one. The color temperature is definitely different. I don't know that the contrast is any sharper or duller, but the color temperature on this is definitely different. Let's see if we can see that on camera. Oh, yeah, you can totally see that on camera. This is the original. This is the reissue. Yeah, you can totally see that. Okay. And, oh, yeah. Let's check. Nope, nothing in there. Just a plain black sleeve. Okay. And then the last one, Forbidden. So the cover art looks more like the CD on the reissue. The CD didn't quite look like this, or at least not the US CD. So yeah, but same artwork, just little different text placement and stuff like that. Yeah, so this is the reissue here. This is the original. And I don't suppose they did anything. No. Okay, but they at least put a little bit of credits on the back, so you can see right there. It actually lists who the band members are. Wow, they actually gave Jeff Nichols some due. That's good. And then, yeah, you can see 2024 remix by Tony Iommi. So, very cool. So, yeah, I mean, I'll definitely listen to each one of these LPs at least once. Even though I have the originals, I'll definitely give these reissues a spin and see what they look and sound like. Oh, yeah, I wanted to check the book and see if maybe they reprinted the lyrics or the inner sleeves or whatever inside the booklet, because that's really a bummer if they didn't. Let's see. So far, I'm not seeing anything. Hold on. Oh, yep, here we go. Okay. Yeah, okay. So, yep, they reprinted the both sides of the insert for Headless Cross. And then there, yeah. And then there's the Tear, both sides of the inner sleeve for Tear. And then, yep. And here's Cross Purposes. Oh, no. Whoops, that's for... There we go. Yeah. So, yep, they reprinted both sides of the Cross Purposes inner sleeve, and then they added... Oh, yeah, okay, yeah, this looks like what was in the CD originally. So, yeah, there's the stuff for Forbidden. Okay, so they did reprint this stuff at least. It would have been nice to see it maybe, actually be in the LPs rather than reprinted in the booklet. But that's all right. That's a minor complaint. But you know, a lot of times these reissues aren't, you know, necessarily 100% faithful to the originals. That's you know, it is what it is. Like I said, very minor complaint. So looking forward to digging into this. Certainly looking forward to reading all the stuff that's in that book. So thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll talk to you soon.